Good morning, Kitchissippi. It is Saturday, October the 12th. This is a video version of the 408th Kitchissippi Weekly Ward newsletter. My usual reminder that you can subscribe to the weekly newsletter that has lots more information, links to the topics we'll discuss at kitchissippiward.ca. Let's dive right in. A note, I just received word from the city yesterday that there will be work ongoing on the Byron path between Eden and Hilson over the next couple of weeks. My understanding is they're going to start trimming trees on Tuesday, that is October the 15th, I think. So they are widening the path to 3 meters, completely replacing the asphalt. Much needed work to be done. They're hoping to get a good portion of that done before the winter. I wasn't necessarily expecting this, but glad they're working on that. I have pop-up office hours on Tuesday, October the 15th. Those are going to be held from 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. at Mamie Clafoutis on Richmond Road, number 400. The pop-up office hours are an opportunity to come by, chat with me one-on-one about whatever is on your mind without appointment anytime during those hours. Yet another reminder that on Wednesday night, October the 16th, Councillor Troster and I will be taking part in a city open house on the 2025 budget. I've seen some of the social media around some of the budget consultations that have already taken place. I want to make it really clear, this is less a consultation than an open house in the view of both Councillor Troster and I. It is always open to write to me, to the city, to Councillor Troster, your thoughts on the 2025 budget. There will be limited opportunities to have a free-ranging discussion through the course of that open house. Nonetheless, interesting to get details about the budget that is coming up. Take a look in the newsletter for a link on how to register for that virtual session. On November the 7th, I am hosting a ward forum that's going to be at the Bayview Yards in the evening. Chief Librarian and CEO of the Ottawa Public Library, Sonia Bevington, will be giving us a keynote presentation at that. The doors will be open at 6:30. I have a ton of community groups coming out with tables with information to talk about things. OC Transpo is going to be there, a number of other city organizations, some of the civil society groups in our ward, and then there will be lots of time for Q&A with me. At 261A Hinchy, that's near Bullman, it is a little dead end. That land is finally going to be disposed of by the city for affordable housing. One of the first steps to doing that is to rezone it for residential development. There is a rezoning proposed as part of a package of rezonings for similar odds and ends parcels across the city. There is an application for that rezoning online. I'm not proposing to host an open house about it. It's going to be a relatively small one of mostly concern to the immediate neighbors, but I encourage you to take a look at the link that I've provided in the newsletter. Feel free to provide both myself, the city planner, and also consider the Hintonburg Community Association with any feedback you have as the planner contemplates the recommendations to council on that rezoning. The Committee of Adjustment on October the 16th, I know I've run through these a couple of times, at 484 Roosevelt, the owner is seeking to divide the property in two to build long semis with a shared driveway. The city's planning department is now weighed in. They have expressed no concerns. At 455 Dawson, the owner is seeking permission for reduced lot areas for the construction of a 2-story semi-detached dwelling containing 6 units. The city's planning department has weighed in now. They have expressed some concerns with the proposal. They've asked for an adjournment to deal with some of the concerns around an inadequate side yard setback, as well as some tree considerations. So watch for that one to be adjourned before that October 16th meeting comes up. And at 451 Roosevelt, that cancellation of a prior granted consent to sever the city planners have weighed in and they have expressed no concerns. I have also some interesting decisions from the October 2nd meeting of Panel 1 of the Committee of Adjustment. At 130 Kenilworth, 372 Holland, that severance and the associated parking variance, no surprise, was approved. At 265 327 Bloomfield, the Committee of Adjustment has refused the consent and refused the variances for that. I'm not going to read all of the committee's language. I have more of it in the newsletter, which I'll be sending out in a few hours, but they've refused the variances to state that the committee finds that the requested variances do not maintain the general intent and purpose of the official plan because the proposal does not respect the character of the area or respond to the policy objective to maintain the urban forest canopy to contribute to the goal of maintaining 40% canopy cover. I have more of the language in the newsletter. That, of course, will go into its appeal period for, I think it's the next 20 days or so. So ultimately, I'm sure it'll be the Ontario Land Tribunal that determines this one, but very interesting language coming out of the Committee of Adjustment on that Churchill Bloomfield development. And then the variances at 633 Edison were also refused. Again, they had the same concerns that the city had with respect to the amount of hard landscaping in there, the treatment of trees. Really interesting. The committee found that the requested variances were quote unquote not minor. I want to explore that one a bit further since that is a bit of a stretch, but I am interested obviously in the fact that the variances were refused for the landscaping treatment, the preclusion of opportunity to include soft landscaping. Some community notices in the weekly newsletter. Wickedly Westboro is back, scavenger hunt from October the 12th until 31st, as well as trick-or-treating that will be held on Saturday, October the 26th. All the details of that in the newsletter. There is a Housing with Heart concert that is going to be held on November the 16th. That's at All Saints Westboro in the evening. Funds raised from the event will help Multi-Faith Housing Initiative to provide 30 affordable apartments, I believe as part of the Le Breton project. So take a look in the newsletter and please attend that concert. It looks delightful. The Hintonburg Community Association is hosting an evening workshop on supports for persons with disabilities. That's going to be held on October the 15th, featuring Able 2's Tony Jean-Baptiste and Randy Schlepchik, who is a human rights lawyer. So that is a supports for persons with disabilities in our community workshop hosted by the Hintonburg Community Association on Tuesday. Take a look in the newsletter for more details and the link to register. There is a harvest lunch with our MPP, Joel Harden. He's hosting a free lunch on Thursday from October the 17th from 12 until 3 p.m. at the Tom Brown Arena. If you are looking for a free Thanksgiving lunch, join Joel and community members to sit around the table for that. Should be excellent. The Kitchissippi United Church is hosting its rummage sale on October 18th, 19th. All Saints Bazaar is hosting its, All Saints is hosting its bazaar on November the 2nd. Parkdale United is hosting its bazaar also on November the 2nd. I've got details of all those craft fairs and bazaars, of course, in the newsletter. City Hall is very, very busy. I think I've just come out of one of the busiest weeks I've had since getting elected. The Environment and Climate Change Committee is going to be meeting on October the 15th. Looks like a fairly workaday agenda, routine reports. There will be some updates to the Solid Waste Services bylaw, mostly to bring that into compliance with some of the policy directions that have been taken by Council of late. Otherwise, you can take a look at the full agenda at the link that I've provided in the newsletter. City Council meets on October the 16th. I think it'll be a relatively uncontentious agenda. All the various different committee reports, I assume, will be approved by Council. I do expect that we'll see a little bit more discussion on the process by which we will add new lands into the urban boundary, according to the new instructions that have been provided by the province as part of the updated provincial policy statement this summer. Deadline is ticking fast on that, and I'm going to assume that City Council is going to approve the Built Heritage Committee's recommendation to hold fast with heritage protection at 501 Cole in the face of an appeal that is the statutory right of the developer to make. I expect most of the meeting will be held in camera as we consider stage 1 LRT legal matters, so that'll probably be the bulk of the day. The Emergency and Protective Services Committee is going to meet on October the 17th. They're going to be considering new licensing and enforcement tools for vape shops, as well as receive the annual reports for the public safety services, as well as 911. So that'll be on October 17th. The Community Services Committee is going to meet on October the 22nd. Not a lot of information online yet, but they will be considering the city's new poverty reduction strategy. That's something we've been waiting a long time for. I don't see the materials online this weekend, but they will be forthcoming, I'm sure. And then there's also going to be a look at the Canada-Ontario Housing Benefit for 2024-2025. That is the rent top-up program that helps people to afford housing who may have lower household incomes on the private market. And then, of course, the Planning and Housing Committee, we never stop meeting. It has another meeting on October the 23rd. We're going to consider the Ottawa Aboriginal Coalition's new Indigenous housing and homelessness strategy. Looking forward to hearing more about that. There's some rezonings on Trim, Innes Road. We're going to consider the rezoning for a significant new development at the Federal Study Center that is on Heron. Last week we approved the heritage permissions for that, but that'll be obviously closely watched. And we're going to be considering the new proposed development charges that take into account the infrastructure master plan projects that we approved, I think it was last June. So that is always a major discussion, the charge per door to pay for the infrastructure projects to support the growth that we contemplate in the official plan. I guess that's the growth before any new parcels are added as a result of the province's most recent changes. And then finally in the newsletter I have the Rosemount Library update. Thank you very much, Kelly, for continuing to send me these. There is a ton going on at the Rosemount Library as always. I'll let you take a look at the newsletter for all of the programming that they're currently advertising. Kitchissippi, it is Thanksgiving. My son is going to be in town in a couple of hours. My wife and I are going to squeeze him and kiss him on his face. I hope that you are enjoying a delightful long weekend under blue skies with your family. I hope it's restful, and I just want to say thank you very much for watching. Have a great week, Kitchissippi.